Welcome back. We are all tied up. We've had quite a few good series this weekend, actually, and this is definitely one of them.
Yep, and that Stitches. If that Stitches was on my team, I will vote and click after the game. And he will be a legend after getting 8. I think he could have been a legend then. Really snowballing from the beginning because of those hooks catching onto Lucio from the very beginning. I think Gondar could actually be an MVP if BlossoM takes the series today.
Yeah, it definitely could be. I mean, that was incredible what we watched from him. Was it the right pick? I was really skeptical, and I still don't necessarily like. This is one of those things where it's like, don't try this at home. This pick only makes sense if Gondar is on your team and he hits like every single hook.
Yes.
Not literally every single hook, but majority of the hooks he landed, and he won them in the early game, which snowballed the game so hard that. I mean, sure, there were mistakes made by Mighty, absolutely, but he wholeheartedly won them the early game. So Mighty was always talent tier down. They couldn't take that boss. They lost the boss, and then from then on, it was like, well, what can you do? So we're going to BOE. It's going to be BlossoM's Mac pick.
And this map for sure, Stitches will not be as powerful.
No, definitely not. But hey, we've seen it before. If he can make it work, I'm not going to question him anymore. It was really well done in the previous set.
It's one of the tools that Gondar has, and it was really in the meta, really stepped up the entire team of BlossoM. Especially in this meta, where you don't really see too much Stitches coming out, so when you were used to it before, but after just not seeing Stitches at all, you ban ETC, one of Gondar's hero also, but you can also always go back to your old favorite and make it work then. Bring a win to your team, but on this battleground, I think something else has to come up. Maybe bring his game 1. Anubarak was also pretty solid. We'll see in draft. Battlefield of Eternity.
We have not seen this battleground in a while, actually. In fact, let me look. We did not see it at all out of any of the 8 games yesterday. And of the 5 today, it has not been seen. So 13 games without it. On the 14th, we're back. It's been a long, long time, Matt. It feels like I forgot this map was in our pool. So first ban for Mighty. It will be the first time this series. They've been prioritizing the bans on ETC and also on solo laners, the Malthaels. Could just be an ETC ban. ETC was so popular on this map with his old trait, the attack speed. Definitely not as strong with that here. Or with the armor here, I should say.
Well, for Mighty, their perfect Lunara record has been broken. Do you still run a Lunara here?
I don't know.
I think it's about to change. About the time to change, and they can still pick up Avala as they have first pick. But seeing a Tastar ban, I think a lot less likely.
Malthael looks to be the ban here for BlossoM. Very strong pick. Not something that Mighty would have first picked, but they just don't want them to have it in general. You think they're going to grab Vala here?
For the Q Vala with another source of damage, yes, but not just as a solo Vala damage. I think Ariel is a better choice than a Vala. Vala actually, it limits you a lot more than Ariel's the first pick. That's why we see a lot of flex picks coming in.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like this a little bit better. And this does leave BlossoM open to a few different choices. They can pick the Li Ming. They can go down the poke war already. They can also now just do Greymane Uther, which is very powerful on this map, especially with the new Greymane build that has become popular with the human range. You can even poke at a safer range to finish off that Immortal. Very strong against dive. Abathur is also available, and it seems weird to say this because it almost never happens. We always see like an Abathur ban or teams aren't brave enough to run it, but it could be like Abathur Illidan. Like that's a map-specific choice that we haven't seen in a while. We haven't seen this map in what feels like forever. So that's something that could happen. Will be just the ETC pickup with Dahaka, though. Yeah, we haven't seen this map since Friday.
Possibly thinking about a dive comp coming out from the other side. Picking up ETC and Dehaka at the same time. It is Vala after a while. But giving Ariel Uther. That can be a big problem for BlossoM. Now, Mighty can actually just go into support choke.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the problems I had with the Dehaka pick on this map. It's not really incredibly strong as a soul laner, but when you don't, he loses the soul lane against so many different soul laners, and he's a global, but that doesn't get much value here, so that's a little bit odd. I would have rather them take the Uther, but we don't know what they want to run for DPS, so that's why. Like, if they run Li Ming later, if that ends up being their damage, then of course the Uther is much less useful in that moment, and you don't really want him as much. So,
really thinking hard about the Tyrael.
Yeah.
We saw MVP Black having Ariel, Uther, and Tyrael. 3 layers of protection sank.
Could have been
shield and also Aegis was a big problem.
It could have been also the Tyrael Sonya last 2 picks. So removing the Tyrael makes the Sonya less viable. Go for the Johanna ban instead. Grey main removed. One of the more decent range damage is available. I think this is going to end up being a Li Ming comp, right? And because what else can you really race with? You have to poke. They can't run a melee assassin.
A poke with what?
Like,
bring in their own
what else
Lunara?
What else can they run? Lunara is available. They have potentially, she's not as good as Vala in this case. They potentially run like Tychus Li Ming. Their soul laner's already decided. The 5th pick is going to be probably like the flex support.
Usually I can get a good read of BlossoM, what they try to do, but with the Dehaka pickup and with DPS locked in from the other side, this may be a little bit weird draft coming out from BlossoM.
Rhaegar Genji. Well, the Genji pick here means it's dive, and they can still pick Li Ming as their final hero. It's like actually fine to do that, but it's going to be difficult to make this work without any sort of divine shield or you know, invulnerability for Genji to live while he's using his Dragon Blade.
Lots of tanks also removed. Maybe this is a game we'll see Garrosh coming out.
Very true.
Sort of counter the dive.
I think that's a really good call. I think that might actually come true. It's that in the soul laner that we need. So Chen's the soul laner. We saw this yesterday dominate the lane against Dehaka. I believe it was on Dragonshire.
Yes.
Actually, it was Malthael. He beat Malthael in lane.
They also had Chen against the ETC. Also with the keg.
And Tyrael coming in, so we knew this was a possibility given the tanks left available and how it is going to help counter the Dragon Blades when the fights occur. And yeah, as you said, it was keg. I wonder if we'll see that again. Not really trying to knock a Gul'dan into anything in this comp, though.
There's a lot of CC on the other side, so I think that Unstoppable may come in very handy to save Vala. Because basically, Mighty is all in Vala right now. And you have to save Vala. And they learned that lesson in Game 1. And with Sank, Divine Shield, Aegis, that may not be enough against so many CCs when they're locked up in a mosh. So of course, canceling that mosh will be the #1 priority for Mighty. What other source of damage is BlossoM looking in here?
I just feel like Li Ming is not enough in team fights. Will be good for the objective. Tychus as well is just not going to be enough. Good for the objective, but
something that burns a lot of HP.
Okay, they're gonna go solo DPS Genji with Kharazim.
With 7-sided, looking for targets.
The hyper carry meta that came from 2 support and secondary supports like the Tassadars, the Tyraels, has seen a lot of solo DPSs. We've seen the Genji, we've seen the Tracer even, we've seen Lunara, we've seen Gul'dan, we've seen Bala. But Genji has had a pretty poor win rate in situations like this, especially because he's not very strong for the objective. So will they be able to make this comp work? They're very confident in the lock-in of the Kharazim. Let's find out now as we head into BOE. In blue, BlossoM, Wiz on Dahaka Gandar, on ETC Mora, on Kharazim Dudu, on Genji, and No Chat on Rhaegar.
And in red, Mighty. Joker on Bala, BDG on Chen, Good on Tyrael, Nasang on Luther, Magi on Ariel.
Loud mount again. Gondar on this. It's been the go-to ETC, I guess, today mount, with Tekaluk playing it in our previous series.
So Q-Vala seems like we're going to have lots of long team fights happening for both sides.
Definitely so. Neither team really has a strong edge in early game. They do have ETC, BlossoM does, but they don't have the wave clear that Mighty has. So Mighty will win the wave clear, obviously, but that does allow threatening power slides to happen. Good detainment strike there. I mean, it was from Mighty, but it was good. It's weird to say good when good's on the team. Look at the top lane.
Having Kharazim up there.
Yeah, he's solo. He's the solo laner with, or sorry, he's with the solo laner.
With the solo laner. It is a 2v2, but Kharazim is very low. Seems like he's about to get a kill onto... He barely dashes out, seems like. We're all catching this off screen, looking at the minimap. That's how good we are.
Yeah, because this is much more interesting.
Taking down turrets.
Vala Ariel is so fun to watch. No one has ever stated otherwise or suggested that watching Vala Ariel 4v3 killing a full wall was a better thing. So even though they had Kharazim to bully Chen in the top lane, he almost died.
Yes.
And they're losing the bot lane. This is already a disastrous situation for BlossoM. This is not like, oh, this is pretty bad, like a little bit behind. This is like, oh, this is the worst possible case scenario.
This is a good push, though, coming up from Mighty. They already took the towers, and
yeah.
BlossoM did not even scratch the other side. Of course, took out some health onto the top tower, but they did not really take it down. Kharazim had to hard back home. They bought a lot of time.
All right, okay. Stuns coming in. Do see the dive very deep. Good power slide here.
Connecting to all the way to the Joker, and does get body blocked and damage.
This could be a really bad fight for Mighty. It already is. It's getting worse. Oh, they didn't even get the kill on a Rhaegar. Okay, Radiance does it.
Nasang barely got the kill, but he will cost his own life for it.
So 3 for 1.
Gondar catching both targets at the end of the power slide.
Gondar's been the hero tonight, man. 100% he's MVP if they win this series. As you were saying earlier, very well done. So they turned this game around. They were in dire straits in terms of the laning phase, but winning this fight so handily means they will take a 6K lead on Immortal Shields. It's not over yet, as Mighty is going to invade to defend. Oh, look at that detainment strike.
They smell to this position on the entire Mighty, and then power sliding right after. But they are onto the chase. Now Vala taking so much damage, even drag. Heals come in with the armor, but not enough. And it's Q-Vala too.
Okay, Magi's very low. The shields, or the heals not enough. And BlossoM has won both team fights 100% by CC chains, and BDG is just now struggling here. They will end up taking out the Uther. He gets Kharazim for his troubles, but he's going to die too, so it wasn't really worth it at the end of the day.
Feels like the Immortal did more damage than the entire team Mighty did back then, because Ariel barely got any hope because Vala died from the beginning.
Yep.
Even Vala wasn't doing too much damage, so there was no healing coming out. Uther can only heal one target.
Obviously, Chen's not going to be able to keep drinking his brew when Gondar is hitting all these stuns to interrupt him. And essentially, Dudu is left to do free damage He's gone for the dash build too, so he's basically dashing his way through to victory, getting those crazy resets. And now we're 8 kills to 2. Level 7 is up. Mighty has been down before and come back. Certainly not on Sky Temple, but on Dragonshire they were very significantly behind, and they still were able to get the late game win.
I think Joker should have went to at least an auto tech build, or if not W build, with an Auriel on your team, if you're the only source of damage. I know you're racing for the Immortal can be a big thing, but if you cannot even get close to it for the poke, and ETC can also just power slide and you will get stunned.
No,
Let's see, maybe if he finishes his stack, he will do a lot more damage, but for now, they're snowballing this one out.
They won't have cleanse until 7, which they don't have yet, which would help them against the really good power slides we're seeing. You will have to take it, just no question, especially for the Chen, who's really struggling in the front line, serving as the main tank, while also being the solo laner. Okay, again, another huge power slide, and Joker's the target. And look at this, Dudu is there for the catch every time.
Dudu from the side and Nasang the second target, of course. And this tower is also out of ammo. Meanwhile, the Happy Panda on top. I guess unhappy Panda.
You know, in volleyball, there's a position called setter. And that person will set the ball so that the spike will come through.
Yeah, of course. I used to be a setter.
Oh, so you know very well. And it feels like Gondar is the setter, and Dudu is just setting up just smashing these.
It feels like Gondar is the setter, and he sets the ball and also spikes the ball himself. That's how good he is right now.
It's just every opportunity that Gondar gives Dudu, he does not mess up. He does not miss. And, you know, in longer fights, maybe Genji has a problem. Maybe he loses the longer sustain battle. But if we never fight that battle because we're seeing incredible power slides over and over and over again, look, here's the set.
I think BDG also was trying to use the flying kick, and the power slide came in at the perfect timing.
But I mean, like, literally, he is setting up Dudu every time, and if they just never have to fight that longer battle, it won't matter. He does get picked this time, though, by a good detain.
0.1 second late. Also could have escaped, I think, with the perfect cleanse, but that was a second too late from no chat.
So, I mean, 10 is around the corner. Still with the Genji pick, they don't have any damage right now, but he will respawn. He will be able to get back to the battle really quick with his cyber agility. He's actually holding on to his heroic, but I don't think X Strike is really going to be the way to play this one out. No.
X Strike.
Okay, so just go ahead and take the Dragon Blade.
Of course, they needed more source of damage, especially when the Mosh is up. You need to do sustained damage, AoE damage, along with a 7-sided. You need multiple kills. Here comes the power slide. Zero-man Mosh dancing camps.
Oh, he got those impalers were dancing, man. But I guess they brought the fear into Mighty as they still lose the fight.
Oh man.
Remember we talked about this earlier, but same mount for Gondar, same mount for Tekluke. I guess if you use this mount, you get the worst Mosh possible. That was everyone gets one, right? Gondar is one of the most famous ETC players in Korea right now. I guess he's got his one bad Mosh. It'll never happen again. Hey, like we said, the Impalers were dancing. Man. The Impalers were dancing.
Yeah, he got the Impalers to dance and having the best skin out there.
It's more than Tekluke could say earlier.
Ooh, even committing 7-sided, they wanted the kill.
They wanted to take a fight before the 10 advantage is lost. Mighty does reach 10 now. It's going to be a fully shielded Immortal that Mighty has to deal with, unfortunately. I mean, it was domination. They got the picks in the top lane with the heroic advantage. They destroyed the Immortal. There wasn't much Mighty could do. But they have good poke. They have Vala, so Vala can use this, you know, Q build to now defeat the Immortal that's walking down lane. They can recover from this. They just need to make sure they don't get picked because they've lost so many of these fights that were never really fights because they lost key members right before the fight started.
When are they going to start the team fight? That's the thing. Dehaka is pushing more and more as the time passes. Mighty needs to find an angle.
Good cleanse there.
There's a keg maybe onto Mora. Seems like focus fire, but there's 7-sided and Dehaka comes from the side.
Saint comes up. For what though? Gondar in good position. There's a tongue grab as Wiz comes in.
Wow. Gondar does not have Mosh for a second because of his positioning and how he was playing. I thought he had Mosh, but that was some bold play coming out.
He just didn't have anything to worry about once Wiz came in. And even when Mighty were the initiators, and even when they fought the longer fight, they couldn't win it. So,
small choke point, and Mosh is available now.
Okay, Mosh is available.
But
no Sank.
Dehaka does not have Brush Stalker, I think. That's exactly why BlossoM has to back out.
He just used it to come up, so he doesn't have it for a little while here.
Does he hit 13? Do they want to commit? Not for now.
Yeah, they have to go deal with Dehaka. He's actually gone through the keep wall. I think it's out of ammo, at least. Dehaka's basically destroyed both keep walls and will make the next Immortal so much more powerful. This one's almost dead, as you can see. They're like trying to catch Magi on the rotate. This is a little bit aggressive out of BlossoM, but I guess they don't get punished for it, so can't judge them. Gondar is making me a big fan today. Oh, look at this.
Nice Mosh. This is a perfect one. Dragon Blade comes out. Does get stopped in the middle, though.
Oh, I mean, this is still such a win for BlossoM. That was so incredible. Bait out Divine Shield as well.
Right at the gate. That was incredible play.
Gate's going to go down here, too, in just a second. Dudu's working on it. Looks like they're going to casually take the camp on their way out. Here comes Good. He doesn't have Sank. He's going to have it in 2 seconds. Could they turn this fight around? Chen's dead. There's the Sank.
Let's see.
They take the cap.
BlossoM is very low and does take Wiz, maybe along with No Chat together. He dove in right after.
That was a bit aggressive out of BlossoM.
Maybe he was trying to get him Ancestral before Wiz fell there. Even that could have been a bigger waste, I think.
Well, they ended up getting the first pick onto Chen, but I don't think they realized Sank was coming up soon. And obviously, you're fighting against the gate, so you don't have vision. You're not in a positional advantage there on the red side of the map. And it looked like Mighty was just going to let them take it, but they'd certainly changed their minds. They have both keeps alive. The walls are damaged, very low on ammo. They have both keeps alive. They're only 1.5 levels down, 1 talent tier down. Oh, look at that. Great detainment strike as the grab comes in from Dehaka.
Power slide. Mosh in 30. Dude is very low. Has to get Ancestral.
Okay, here's a really good keg, though. They're looking for the kill onto Wiz. Does end up burrowing away. BDG, no protection now, no heals. Divine Shield will save him, but he get a long cooldown traded. And for the next fight, Mosh will be available. Massive advantage BlossoM on shields on the Immortal. And it just feels like these guys can't catch a break in this game, Mighty.
They're going all in, of course. It's 1-1, and this Immortal, they will be feeling like they should have won this game already with Dvala coming in, but BlossoM is on top. Their Moshes are kicking in. I think this next one, he's looking for another one here.
All right. They actually win it for 1.4. Very close. They're going to want to take this fight anyways, even with the globes coming through. They don't care about that. Detainment strike again. He's got Mosh available. And the choke point could be a risk.
Staying in together, blinded for now. And looking for a Mosh, but he's so low. I think he did not actually commit to it because he's so low.
Yeah, you're certainly right about that one. Okay, that's going to be the kill. Should be 2, as I don't think ETC's getting out of here. Vala's still got speed. Does get the first mount, but doesn't have mana, so Gondar will get out. The Immortal is still working on this keep, though, so even with their kill, this works out so well for BlossoM because this Immortal was so well shielded. It feels like in this situation, when you're this far behind, it's like no matter what you do, you kind of lose one aspect. I think they might be able to save this keep. It's going to be close.
Well, let's
Actually,
see.
maybe it's not.
Vala just finished the quest, so a lot of extra damage. Barely.
Yeah.
Just 1 shot left.
If the scaling of that Immortal was like 1% higher, that would have been it. So that's really important they save that. There's still a window back into this game now that the keep is alive. It's never over till it's over. We've seen an incredible comeback from Mighty already in Game 1. Looking to make it again in Game 3. Gondar is just playing so well tonight, though. Of all 10 players in this game right now, he is like a whole tier above the rest of them. He's playing like A's when they're like an A when they're playing like B's. It feels like.
That's another reason to ban ETC. against Gondar. His individual decision to not use that Mosh at that moment, it seems alright to
And he
trap in
survived!
2-3, but did not use it and also survived. It takes a lot of patience to actually not use that Mosh.
Yeah, it takes
when
a lot
you
of
see the angle.
patience, a lot of self-control.
Because I know it happens. I just press it and then I go like, whoops. No follow-up.
Backdoor keep steal, by the way. Dudu gets in there.
Genji.
And that was really well played. So that means that now the lane pressure will always be against Mighty. That was so important they kept it alive. They put everything into keeping it alive, and then they just didn't have any defense there for the backdoor. So now we're going to see another invade. 16 to 15. Mosh pit available. So is Sank.
And so, but Holy Ground not yet available is 15. Now there's a Mosh Pit, but Divine Shield, it has to be stuns onto the other side. Vala is 100% so safe. Sanks has to be used alone as good.
Okay, Gondar is going to go down here. The Sentry Cannon Tower doing so much from the back.
Right.
The wall was down, actually helps Mighty here. Dudu uses the Dragon Blade, doesn't get kills with it though. It's a 1-for-1 right now. Wiz trying to make this work, as he is going to try to speed his way out of here. Does get the movement speed from that brush, and will get out alive. Not the best place to fight against Wandering Keg when the wall is down. But this fight was very well defended by Mighty. They get the better exchange because they knew they had that Sentry Tower, because the Keg was so good. When Ariel comes up in 5 seconds, she will have Aegis. And they're going to try to win halftime to buy time for that fight. Mosh Pit will not be done anytime soon. 65 seconds-ish left on that. Did they not proc halftime? I guess not. Very close to doing so. Want to force... they want to keep this Immortal on their side of the map, actually, while they get this camp. Then they'll proc the halftime. This does take away their lead, though.
It takes a lot of HP away for their own Immortal if they can get it later on, too. But they want to have this long fight, and because there's another camp pushing from the other side, they want to time it together.
Yeah, but the problem is their core is just in shambles.
They race faster. They're going for the defense, actually, and that's...
They're losing it.
The red one is melting down there.
Yeah, look at that Joker's Q build, man. Not going to be enough. All right, seven-sided is used. The core is soon to be under attack in the bot lane. Tyrael's the first to die.
Right before Sank.
Right before Sank, indeed. Core under attack. Health bar showing.
Was that the right decision?
I don't think so.
To go for the core, right, and stopping the Immortal right before.
I don't think so, actually.
It's a questionable one. I think it differs to what you're trying to do later on. I think it was an okay one because BlossoM has a lot of potentials. Of course, Mosh was not back at the time. But
all they gained from it was a mercenary camp that wasn't even really going to threaten the keep. Rhaegar's already cleaned that. And that's all they gained. What they lost was much greater. They were so deferring to winning that team fight, which they did not do. They did not win the race. They were never going to win the race for the positioning they had there. This Immortal will not even kill the keep, though. They clear bot. They removed the top pressure. There were no minions pushing with the Immortal because of that mercenary cap. They survive. But for how much longer, that's the question here. As, I mean, this is a full dash Genji build. And I feel like the carry in this game, in terms of damage, sure, it's the Genji, but in terms of playmaking, it's definitely Gondar. Definitely the ETC.
Yeah, he's also sustaining himself with lots of talent. 16 talent also basic attacks reduce his E a lot, so he can heal himself a lot more.
Okay, they're going to try to stop this retreat. They still have Sank, because it wasn't used in the last fight.
All 10 available for each.
Yep.
Tyrael's taking blood for blood to do max amount of damage. This map, Holy Ground, is somewhat impactful, I think. Still zoning out the back line, I think, is very important. Sometimes Rhaegar does not get in range and cannot ancestral the front line, especially when Genji is diving in. Creates a big range.
Yeah, it does help against Gondar's aggressive ETC play, though. He's been so near to death many times. Also very good against both supports. Like, both Rhaegar and Kharazim are really tanky, so it can help you get that kill. The extra damage is certainly impactful.
I like this rotation from Mighty because Wiz is staying down there. They actually came down together, so Wiz, if he wants to push, actually Kharazim's
going to split push. He's going to try to steal that keep. This is going to force a rotation. Look at where Gondar is. He's trying to dismount them, but they get called out on it. Everyone gets mounted. I think Karzim needs to leave. He will certainly get the hearth off now. Gondar's again just trying to dismount people while that's happening. Oh, he's not going back. Look at this. They all chase Gondar, and Karzim is split pushing.
And meanwhile, they took the bottom camp too, so they have to win this race no matter what. They have to get this Immortal, and Karzim will be working on that keep. What are they going to do? They are
this is actually
losing
going to be
control
chills.
right now.
Like, Gondar is so smart. He's just trying to dismount everyone. He's trying to disrupt. They think Moro went home. He did not. He is going to get the keep. Such a brilliant play. They're going for the core.
Doesn't matter.
They need the hearth. They're taking the slow walk. They're going to get zoned out here.
And BlossoM is 20.
Double keeps down. Gondar does have Maj. He needs to stay alive, though. Here comes the keg.
Ooh, Divine Shield alone used onto the other side.
That's going to be a problem. Here comes the Maj. It's on Ariel. Dragon Blade is out. Here's a Tor boss. Doesn't actually really get much, but it does catch Vala. Yeah.
That's a big thing. I think it's a GG
I think it is. Aegis does go off here, but for what? Moggy's going to go down. This was a very much outplaying by BlossoM here in this game, start to finish. I think the finish was the most amazing part of it all. Even if they can't core here, I have to leave this.
Wow.
I have to leave this team fight speechless. This is what they were able to do. So the core is damaged. The catapults are actually firing at heroes right now, but now that they turn, I'm not sure if Mighty's going to be able to survive. Ball is up in 16. Is it still going to be close? Oh, maybe not if they get
the
the
2CC.
kill.
Oh my goodness. I know you want to defend as much as possible, but
I think they should have been more conservative on their defense because the core still had a lot of shields left.
Luther is coming back though.
Yep. Core's just going to eat a little bit of damage, I think, and then Joker will come out.
They can do max damage and Q Vala, and Immortal's on your side. Let's see if Joker goes ASAP to the Immortal, try to burn that down. And ETC, notice the position of ETC.
Yeah.
No, actually, Carding back up. Never mind.
Well, he certainly was definitely considering to spot out if they were going to go directly to the Immortal or not, and then he hearthed. So you're still absolutely right. He was in that position for a reason. And Mighty is going to try to close this one out to try to turn the Immortal back to the bot lane. What a... I mean, again, this game has been so good so far to me.
Divine Shield, critical timing. He was about to get CC. Luther blows up.
He's gone.
They cannot finish the Immortal. It will be GG if they do not complete it. They do not.
Okay.
Even Tyrion's not enough.
I mean, it's GG regardless. The core is under attack by catapults. Gondar has made me a fan. I heard the hype. People were telling me to look out for this guy. He didn't live up to it at the early part of the season.
The two leftovers. Torbus! Nicely done. That's a finish.
He did not live up to the hype, I feel like, in the beginning of the season, to me. And I saw his stitches. We saw one good Anubrock game. We saw one good ETC game, but they felt one off. But tonight, back-to-back, he is the MVP. Camera's on Dudu because he killed everybody with the Dragon Blade. He pressed the R button and he clicked on people. But this game would not have been